Welcome to the California Maverick, a channel fighting for a free and sane California. There's something brewing in California. I feel it in my bones, deep in my gut, and in my soul. The sands are shifting, the tide is turning, and Gavin Newsom and the Democrats and the politicians in Sacramento, they feel it too, and they know it's coming. That's why they rushed this whole redistricting scramble they've been plotting for years. That's why they're pushing these hate speech laws to censor conservative or dissenting voices on social media. That's why they're flying off the rails, going so far left, banning all Glocks, doubling down on crazy extreme policies. They know their grip on power is slipping. They know they're losing control. There's a new hope rising, and I truly believe that. I truly believe there is a new hope. Let me tell you what's really going on. Let's get into it. Okay, as I said in the intro, I really believe there's a shift happening in California. I'm not going to sit here and claim and say that it's going to flip red or become a conservative or Republican stronghold. That's being extremely delusional and not living in reality. But I really think and believe it's shifting towards becoming a swing state, a purple state. And I'll tell you why. This last month, September 2025, Republican voter registration jumped up a full percentage point and added 50,000 new registered voters, while Democrats actually dipped a full percentage point and only registered 190. However, this is where it gets really interesting. The no party preference grew by almost 100,000 voters. And it may be more than that because a lot of people get confused with the American Independent Party, where a lot of people think they're registering as independent, but in reality, they're actually registering themselves to a political party. So I really think the no party preference gained over 100,000 registered voters. That is a gigantic pool of disaffected voters who feel like they have no home. Even the far left parties like Peace and Freedom and the Green Party picked up a few voters from the Democrats. In Stanislaus County, in the Central Valley, Republican voter registration now leads Democrats by almost 600 voters. That's the first time in over a decade. Democrats are losing ground to no party preference voters across the state. These are people who feel politically homeless. They feel left behind by the Democrat leftist crazy town party.
For the first time in a decade, Republicans now outnumber Democrats in Stanislaus County voter registration.
Your reporter covering Stanislaus County, Nina Burns, is getting answers on the trend.
New numbers show Stanislaus County Republican voter registration surpassed Democratic registration for the first time in a decade. A jump from February, when Democrats were nearly 1,400 ahead. As of September, there are nearly 109,000 registered Republicans and just over 108,000 Democrats, giving Republicans a 570 voter lead. But when it comes to presidential election results, the county has seen a shift. In 2016, Stanislaus went blue by just under 2%. In 2020, the Democratic majority was razor thin, winning by less than 1%. Then in 2024, Stanislaus County went red, with Republicans leading by nearly 11%.
Wondering whether demographics have shifted in other counties. Just take a look in Sacramento County between February 2023 and February 2025. Democrats saw another 5,200 voters added to its rolls, while Republicans picked up 19,000 new voters, although Democrats still outnumber Republicans in Sac County 2-1.
In San Joaquin County, during that same two-year span, Republicans picked up 10,000 voters while Democrats lost 8,000, though they still account for 40% of voters compared to 30% for Republicans.
When Charlie Kirk got assassinated, the days following, there were prayer vigils and candlelight vigils all across the state. Huntington Beach, Los Angeles, Sacramento, Fresno, all over. There's something powerful happening. There's a change. And a lot of these no party preference voters see it too. And that's why most of them left the Democrat Party. And this is a great opportunity for Republicans, conservatives, libertarians, start to change people's minds. These people are politically homeless. They're disaffected. They've been abandoned by the crazy policies of these Democrats in Sacramento and in California. Because of the propaganda machine here in California, the liberal media that runs cover for these Democrat politicians in Sacramento, Sacramento, a lot of these people still believe that both parties are the same. Both parties are corrupt. And I definitely know there's a uniparty, especially in the federal government. It definitely exists. However, in California, there is no uniparty. There's one party, and it's a Democrat supermajority. And they either don't vote at all, or they just vote Democrat because they still think that Republicans are all the isms you can name. Racist, homophobic, xenophobic, transphobic, misogynist, fascist, Nazis, all of that. But if you sit down with these moderate, disaffected voters and cut through the propaganda and you talk about dinner table issues, they align with conservative Republican values more than they think. Strong borders, safe neighborhoods, lower gas prices, affordable housing, better education, safe schools, girls playing in girls' sports. They don't want boys in girls' locker rooms. They don't want boys playing in girls' sports. These are winning universal issues that everyone can align and get behind. People are sick of being gaslit by these politicians like Gavin Newsom, telling them how they're going to solve the affordability crisis, the homeless crisis, the housing crisis, the crime on the streets, while at the same time implementing policies that are causing these crises. They're tired of the wildfires and being blamed on climate change when these fires are completely preventable and they're due to poor forest management and brush clearing and fuel clearing, while at the same time they're being crushed by high gas prices, EV mandates, high energy costs. Meanwhile, the wildfires don't seem to get better, only worse, destroying communities like Paradise, like the Palisades. And they know it's their policies causing all these problems in the state. And they've seen the numbers. They know where the voter registration is going. They know where the tide is turning. That's why in 2020, the Democrats fought tooth and nail here in California to count illegal immigrants under the census. That's the way they keep their grip on power.
We do know that there's an enormous number of undocumented individuals that are casting votes in our California election. That's a problem, especially when you know that behind that are Mexican cartels that are getting paid and they're kind of working with the California government to ensure this endless amount of migration. Undocumented migration. So
people who come here illegally end up having kids here, and they get sent to these failing public schools that are nothing more than indoctrination camps. They get influenced by trendy pop culture, which is nothing but woke Hollywood trends and peer-driven fads that push people farther and farther left because they think that's what's in, that's what's trendy. And a lot of their parents don't fully assimilate or integrate themselves into American society. And I would argue, like my parents who legally immigrated into this country actually had pride in the United States. They actually were proud, patriotic Americans because they actually earned the right to call themselves citizens. They went through the legal process. They waited in line. They waited their turn. They took the test. They became citizens and were proud. If it's not earned, if you just come to this country illegally and you're allowed to stay here with no sense of ownership and no accountability, well, of course you're not going to be proud to be an American. And of course you're not going to like this country or love this country. And then your kids are going to be indoctrinated by far leftists, communists, Marxists, and they're going to learn to hate this country too and think it's racist and homophobic and transphobic and misogynist and all of the isms. That's why California fought tooth and nail to count non-citizens into the census so they can keep their House of Representative seats, so they can keep their electoral college votes. Without all the illegals being counted in the census, California would lose at least 3 to 4 seats. But here's the solution, and here's where there is hope. Like I said, I'm not predicting this red wave overnight. It's not going to flip tomorrow or maybe ever. I don't really know. But we cannot sustain this one-party disaster. We cannot sustain all these lies, the bureaucracy, the government stranglehold, the gaslighting of trying to solve these problems while the policies that are implemented are the reason for these problems. The solution is the voter ID initiative to put on the ballot next November in 2026. This is led by California Assembly member Carl DeMaio. It requires a photo ID to vote on election day, and it requires citizenship verification at registration. It'll eliminate all the fishy business, all the mail-in ballots that get sent to God knows who, and it will solve so many problems.
Tonight, an Orange County woman faces 5 felonies accused of registering her dog to vote. According to the Orange County District Attorney, 62-year-old Laura Yorix of Costa Mesa cast ballots in her dog's name, and those ballots were for the recall of the governor in 2021 and the 2022 primary. The dog's vote was successfully counted in 2021, but it was rejected in 2022. Prosecutors say Yorix posted a social media picture of her dog wearing an I voted sticker. If convicted, Yorix faces up to 6 years in state prison.
We need 1 million signatures to get this through. And there is a powerhouse coalition forming. Nicole Shanahan, RFK Jr.'s 2024 running mate, Scott Presler, who flipped Pennsylvania red through tireless grassroots voter drives and registering hundreds, if not thousands of Amish in Pennsylvania, Benny Johnson, a conservative powerhouse, and of course Carl DeMaio are all going to team up for the largest conservative rally in California history. And I hope this happens.
And California is going to have a reckoning that I think we need the team to show up for. I want us to figure out how to win this battle the right way, the sustainable way, the way that really does bring everybody along with us. And that was the legacy of Charlie Kirk, is he wanted to win the right way, and he did. And he showed us what it looks like. And where I'm putting my efforts is on the voter ID initiative. I think this is going to be a really important one. 70% of Californians want it. We're going to get it on the ballot. There's a signature requirement. Luckily, I know a little bit about that.
We should do like a big event, right? You should bring in like Scott Presler.
Let's do it, Benny. Come on over to California.
Yeah. We should do like a huge event, and we can like organize in like a smart area, right? I don't know if it's Huntington Beach or if it's somewhere up north, but organize in a smart area and get signatures. Like get a bunch of Californians, bring in like Don and Eric, and I'll come over and I'll hype it like crazy and do like a massive event. Have Scott Presler out there registering voters, right? And and bring in like and have Steve Hilton and yourself, of course, at like headline and keynote, and then we can use that as an opportunity to get signatures, right?
Yeah, most definitely. Let's do it. We're going to start signature collection, I believe, within the next 4 or 5 months. But, I'll be posting about it on my X. Okay. Benny, let's talk. Let's make this happen.
Totally. Bring in JD, bring in people who have like good, strong connections to California. I was born in California, right? Like, yeah. So like, but I hate to see it. I hate to see what's happening.
This is the game changer. This is the silver bullet. This is the Gettysburg. This is the pendulum swinging. This is the one torpedo that could destroy the Death Star. We need to end this one-party rule that has failed. People want secure borders. People want affordability. People want to own a home. People want safe neighborhoods and good schools. People want a better future for their kids. People want to feel like they can have a family and not be worried about the future of the country or not being able to afford having as many children as they want. The state needs balance, and the tides are turning, and it's coming. I have hope. If you like this video, leave a like and possibly subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.